formulas. I'm going to make one on the fly, all right? But I've already done this one for a periodic table. So, periodic table of elements, we see our images, right? Our high dragon, our helium balloon, lit thumb. And this is another one where I told my daughter this story. Okay, hold on, let me pause this for a second. So as I said, this was another one where I was telling my daughter the story that I had made up, and it took me a minute and a half to make up the story, but I realized that some of the connections weren't so good, so I changed them. All right, so you ready? Close your eyes. Once upon a time, there was a table of L-shaped mints, okay? So this was a table of L mints. And this really happy dragon, what we call a high dragon because he's always waving high, showed up and started eating the mints off the table. But he had a balloon attached to his tail. And as he started eating the mints, it started lifting him up into the air. Now suddenly, out of nowhere, as he's floating along in the air, this thumb with flame on it, a lit thumb, came right under the balloon and popped the balloon. And the noise was so loud from popping it that it startled and surprised this nearby bear who was enjoying his dinner of eel. Okay? And the bear was so surprised that he dropped the eel and started rampaging through the forest until he got to this nearby campground where these two very, very bored kids were sitting around watching a movie on their iPad. Now, here's where it gets exciting. When they saw the bear, the family ran to their car that was parked nearby, and it's a car that's made of hot dog buns. And they tried to get in it to escape, but before they could, the day just went completely dark, and this ginormous dragon swooped down, grabbed the car bun, and started flying away, and it flew off into the night sky, leaving them behind, leaving the family behind. As it flew over water, and it actually swooped down and dove into the water with the car bun in its talons, and it swooped down and went into the ocean. And as it dove into the ocean, it passed the scuba diver who had a big oxygen tank on its back. And the scuba diver was so scared when it saw the dragon that it decided to go into its underground home or underwater home, and it swam into the underwater home, opened the door, and all the water went away, and he just looked at his underwater home, and it was so clean. The floor was so clean. It was a floor clean. And then he was very happy, and he turned on his neon light in his living room that said "The End." All right, so what did I just do? I don't even know how long that took, but it wasn't that long, and I took all of our elements, right? It's my high dragon eating the elements, gets pulled by the balloon, the lit thumb blows up the balloon, startles the bear, he goes and scares the kids who are so bored, they try to jump into their car bun, the night dragon comes and grabs the bun and then dives into the water, sees the scuba diver, guy goes and sees his beautiful floor clean house and the neon light. All right, so that's that image, and what you want to do is either tell that after you've done, tell that story to yourself, or just relive it, okay? Just go close your eyes and say, can I go through each element of that story? All right. One thing I'm going to show you, because I'll switch over to and just create one on the fly, but in this storytelling place, this is where you can create your stories. This list right here will look at your list, and it will check and see whether these things are included, okay? So for instance, if boron is in your list, it will put a check mark. If boring is in your list, it'll put a check mark, okay? But it has to be exact. Either the word beryllium has to be there, or bear eating an eel yum. All right, so if it doesn't show up after you save this and you go back to it, if it doesn't show up, then there's probably a spelling error. All right, but that's just a way for you to look at it as you're creating a story, to just check things off as you go, and then let the system agree with you or disagree with you. Okay, so let me submit this, and now